Hey guys, David the Fishing Pastor here for Cast King, and today I want to teach you how to make your own rod floats so you never lose a rod in the water again. You know, every rod and reel that you purchase is an investment. Whether it was expensive or inexpensive, you buy it hoping that it's going to last you. This is why we spend so much time protecting our investments by putting our rods in rod sleeves and rod socks and cleaning out our reels every so often to make sure that they are functioning properly and at their highest possible level. One thing that I see so often though is people losing their rods and reels because they're dropping them in the water, whether it's from a bank or from a kayak or from a boat. And there is a really simple solution to prevent this. Alright, so here's some things that you need. First, you'll need a tape measure. Next, you'll need some kind of cutting utensil, whether it's a knife or scissors or whatever you have laying around the house. So after that, here's a couple things you may have to buy just in case you don't have them laying around the house. Number one, some pipe insulation. And you can usually find this at any local hardware store. And my advice is the thinner the better. I've heard of some people using pool noodles for these rod floats, but pool noodles tend to be incredibly thick and are just not the most efficient. So if you go buy some pipe insulation, I'd recommend a ½ inch at most, and if you can find anything thinner, but usually ½ inch is the smallest that you can find at the hardware store. Second, you'll need some zip ties. Now, you may have these laying around the house, but if not, again, you can find these at your local hardware store. I prefer the black ones just so that they blend in more with the pipe insulation, but you can get whatever color you want, and you really don't need anything longer than 8 inches. Okay, so now that we have our materials, it's time to start measuring and cutting. And you can kind of play with this if you want. Originally, I had gone with 12 inches. But what I found was it was a little bit too long and the line was actually touching the float, and that's what you don't want. You don't want it rubbing up against that. I was worried that any shorter the rod and reel might be too heavy, but it should be okay. So I'm actually going to go about half of that and just do about 6 inches there. And that should be good. So take that and make a cut there. And if you have a table, you might want to put something under that so you don't cut the table. But yeah, that's actually 6 inches is pretty good. So now that we've cut out our floats, we're going to fit them to our rods. This is my Cast King Pray G2 rod, and just gonna open this up. This one is actually kind of sticky in the middle, but it's already pre-cut. Some of them you have to actually go through and just cut it yourself, which is fine. Just gonna open this up here. There we go. Doesn't have to be beautiful or perfect, just has to be functional. Just gonna take your rod, fit it in there, face it down. I like the open part at the bottom. Then just take your zip tie, bring it close to the edge there, and then start tightening. And you want to tighten it down as much as you possibly can. And then just take scissors or whatever cutters you have and cut off those tag ends there. And if you have better scissors, just cut them down as close as you possibly can. You just don't want, just in case line or anything, you don't want anything rubbing up against that. So when it's all said and done, it should look something like that. Now that the floats have been cut out and I have fitted one to my rod, I'm going to get out here and actually test it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with just the rod first, and then I'm going to throw on the reel and see how it does with both. Alright, there you go. There is a super simple and inexpensive way to protect your gear, your rods and your reels, because again, you're investing into this. You want them to work, you want them to last, and they won't last if you're losing them in the water. So next time you get out on your kayak or your boat or even from the bank, just pop one of those on, and it'll give you peace of mind knowing that you're not going to lose your gear. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel and also like and comment on this video, and always remember to pray, fish, repeat. God bless. I'll see you in my next video.